Throughout life, human beings have been taught to ask, pray, and wait for something to happen. They have been conditioned to believe that power lies outside, in distant forces, in circumstances, in luck. But true power has always resided in one's own voice. The word is pure vibration, and every sound that comes from the mouth carries the frequency capable of shaping the invisible fabric of reality. Most people speak without awareness, repeating phrases that reinforce scarcity, pain, and limitation. And then they wonder why life doesn't change. The truth is simple yet provocative. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, but to what you communicate vibrationally. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm unable," "life is hard," the energetic field understands these phrases as commands and begins to create experiences that confirm exactly what was said. Words are codes. Each syllable emits an energetic signature that interacts with the universal field. The sound of the voice is a wave that travels through matter, and the entire universe responds to this vibration. When one speaks with awareness, when one understands the power of the verb, life changes direction. Prosperity, love, health, and synchronicity begin to emerge not as miracles, but as natural consequences of a coherent vibration. What Itzhak Bentov revealed in his studies on consciousness is that reality is a sensitive mirror, reacting to the slightest vibrational signal emitted by the human being. And the sound of the word is the most direct command this mirror receives. To speak is to create. To speak is to define. To speak is to activate the energy of that which has not yet manifested. The question this video raises is profound. If the word is a creative power, what have you been creating with what you say every day? How much of your current life is the result of the stories you yourself have been repeating? The answer can completely transform the way you understand reality, and it's exactly this journey that begins now. For the human being is a field of energy pulsing within a vibrational immensity that surrounds them on all sides. Each thought, emotion, and intention creates waves that expand and interact with the great universal field, like a silent dialogue between the individual and the whole. Nothing is separate. Everything vibrates in constant movement, and each vibration carries information, a unique signature that communicates to the universe who we are and what we wish to attract. Quantum physics already suggests what ancient masters always understood. Reality is shaped from the frequency we sustain. When the human field harmonizes with the more subtle vibrations of the universe, a profound alignment occurs, and energy begins to respond naturally. Prosperity, love, health, synchronicities. Everything manifests according to inner attunement. The universe doesn't understand words. It understands vibrations. Each emotion is a message. Each thought sends a direction. Joy creates bridges. Fear raises walls. When consciousness elevates and vibration becomes coherent, the surrounding field reorganizes to reflect this new harmony. The mind stops fighting against the flow and begins to dance with it. Within this movement, the being awakens to something grand, the perception that they are not at the mercy of chance. The universe responds to every frequency emitted, and the body, as a sensitive instrument, captures this response in the form of sensations, coincidences, and meaningful encounters. What previously seemed random reveals itself as part of an intelligent web, where each human vibration influences the fabric of reality. Everything a person manifests is, above all, the result of their internal vibration. The way they think, feel, and act emits continuous signals that shape the world around them. This energy is never lost. It only changes form, reflecting the inner state of the one who sends it. When the being understands this mechanism, life transforms into a laboratory of consciousness, a space of intentional creation. And to understand how this vibration is sustained, 4 pillars become fundamental. They define the quality of the energy emitted and the clarity of communication with the universal field. When one of these pillars becomes misaligned, the frequency fragments, and the natural flow of manifestation is interrupted. Understanding these pillars is the first step to opening the doors of reality and becoming a conscious co-creator of one's own destiny. And the path to this begins with the most powerful of all, communication. Human vibration is sustained by four foundations that operate in an integrated manner: beliefs, emotions, communication, and actions. These pillars form the energetic signature that defines what each person emits to the universe. It's like a melody composed of different instruments. When all play in harmony, energy flows with clarity. When one goes out of tune, reality begins to reflect noise, blockages, and results misaligned with the deepest desire. Everything begins with belief. They are the invisible foundation that determines how someone interprets the world and what they consider possible. A limiting belief acts as a vibrational barrier, preventing the natural flow of energy. When the mind sustains ideas of incapacity, scarcity, or fear, the energetic field retracts. On the other hand, elevated beliefs, based on trust, worthiness, and expansion, amplify vibration and create a direct bridge with the universal field. Emotions function as the fuel of this machinery. Each feeling is a specific frequency, and the universe responds to it with precision. The vibration of joy, for example, attracts experiences that reflect this same frequency. The vibration of doubt or anger, on the other hand, creates distortions in the field and interrupts the fluidity of energetic movement. Emotion is the component that gives life to thought. It's what transforms an idea into creative force. But the pillar of communication is the most decisive of all, because it's through the way someone expresses themselves, with words, voice, and presence, that vibration projects into the world. Each word spoken is an energetic code, a command issued to the field. The tone of voice reveals the emotion that sustains it. Body posture shows whether there is coherence between what is said and what is felt. Communication, therefore, is the direct channel between the inner world and the external universe. Action closes the cycle. It translates into movement the vibrational content generated by the other pillars. Acting with fear keeps the field dense. Acting with conviction amplifies the reach of energy. Each attitude reinforces or weakens the vibrational signature. And when all pillars align, belief, emotion, word, and action, a state of magnetic coherence emerges, capable of altering reality. The secret of manifestation lies in the harmony between these elements, and the pillar of communication, in particular, acts as the bridge between the invisible and the tangible. It's through it that energy takes form, that thought converts into word and word transforms into matter. Within this dynamic, understanding communication becomes the key that opens the doors to a new level of conscious creation. And it's precisely in this key that the next step of the journey deepens, understanding how communication, when used with vibrational awareness, completely redefines the relationship between being and the reality that surrounds it. Communication is the key that connects the inner world to the universe in motion. Each expression, whether verbal, emotional, or bodily, acts as a frequency that opens or closes vibrational doors. When someone speaks, they transmit not just words, but an entire energetic field that carries intention, feeling, and consciousness. This vibration, once released, interacts with the subtle fabric of reality and gives form to what was previously only potential. Words are just a small part of this equation. Studies in communication psychology already indicate that about 7% of the message is in the words, while the rest manifests through tone of voice, gestures, gaze, and posture. The energy behind speech is what truly creates impact. The universe responds to the vibration emitted, not to the phrase itself. When a person says, "I'm fine," but the body expresses tension and the voice reveals sadness, the vibrational message sent is one of misalignment. And the energetic field responds to this incoherence with equally confused result. True communication begins when the being becomes aware of the energy that accompanies their words. To speak is to create. Each phrase pronounced shapes a small portion of reality. A simple "I can't" generates resistance. An "I can" opens space for flow. Conscious communication is the act of aligning what one thinks, feels, and expresses, so that the message sent to the universe is clear and coherent. When this clarity settles in, vibration elevates. The body relaxes, the voice gains firmness, and presence becomes magnetic. People and situations begin to respond differently, as if the world recognized the new energetic pattern. This is true manifestation in action, not something mystical, but a natural consequence of vibrational coherence. The key lies in perceiving that all communication is energetic, even when silence speaks. The gaze, the gesture, the intention behind each word are invisible languages that the universe understands perfectly. And when the being learns to use this language consciously, they begin to create not just with thought, but with their very state of being. Understanding this dynamic is comprehending that communication doesn't end when speech ceases. It continues vibrating, echoing in the field, shaping the next experiences. The power lies in becoming vigilant to the energy behind each expression, because what is communicated is, in fact, what one is in that moment. But the path to this vibrational clarity faces profound challenges. Internal distortions, mental and emotional noise, frequently interfere with this process. They are what weaken the message and fragment the vibration. And it's at this point that the journey dives even deeper, revealing the invisible blockages that prevent the human being from fully communicating with the universe. When communication between being and universe fragments, the flow of manifestation is interrupted. This rupture doesn't occur outside, but within. Internal noise is the interference that distorts the vibrational signal. It manifests as limiting beliefs, fear, insecurity, self-criticism, and distrust. Each of these elements creates an energetic fog that weakens the clarity of the message sent to the universal field. The mind, when saturated with dense thoughts, becomes like an out-of-tune instrument. Even if the intention is elevated, the vibration emitted comes out loaded with uncertainty. It's the same as trying to tune a radio station while noise dominates the sound. The result is confusion, pattern repetition, and a constant sensation of blockage. The universe responds, but the signal it receives is cloudy, without definition. The most subtle noises are also the most dangerous. Doubt, for example, acts as a crack in the vibrational field. Even a momentary thought of disbelief can nullify the creative impulse that was forming. Fear, in turn, generates a vibration of retraction. The energy, which previously flowed freely, contracts, preventing the natural flow of manifestation from reaching the physical plane. Continuous self-criticism keeps focus on limitation, reinforcing the vibration of lack and separation. Each time the being mentally repeats that they are not capable, that they don't deserve, or that they cannot, they are strengthening an energetic command of scarcity. Vibrational communication becomes confused because it carries contradictory messages, the desire to move forward mixed with the vibration of fear of failure. This incoherence is the main obstacle to conscious manifestation. Overcoming these noises begins with silent observation. The simple act of perceiving the thought, without judging it, initiates a process of energetic cleansing. Consciousness, when present, dissolves interferences and restores harmony to the field. In this state of clarity, the being begins to perceive the power of each word, each emotion, and each choice. Inner silence becomes a fertile space where energy reorganizes, ready to emit a new vibration, this time aligned and powerful. The vibrational field doesn't judge, it only responds. It reflects exactly the frequency it received. Therefore, cultivating thoughts of trust, emotions of gratitude, and words of power is essential to maintain pure communication. When noise ceases, vibration flows freely again, and the universe responds with precision. This internal cleansing opens the way for the awakening of a power that has always been present, but often forgotten, the creative power of the word. It's in it that vibration finds form, direction, and purpose. And it's precisely this power that reveals the next step of this journey. Each word pronounced carries a vibrational force that surpasses common understanding. In ancient Aramaic, the word abracadabra meant, "I create as I speak." This expression was not a simple mystical enchantment, but an affirmation of the conscious power that inhabits language. When the being speaks, they emit energetic commands that shape the surrounding field. The word becomes seed, and the universe, fertile soil that faithfully responds to what is planted. Sound is vibration, and vibration is energy in motion. Each time someone declares something about themselves, they are defining the frequency that will sustain their reality. Saying, "I have no money," reinforces scarcity, not as punishment, but because energy responds to the exact message it receives. The word creates a vibrational echo that repeats until replaced by a new order. When one says, "I am prosperous," the vibration changes direction, opening space for abundance to find passage. The verb is the most direct tool of manifestation. It gives form to thought and transforms it into perceptible reality. Speaking with awareness is a creative act, a vibrational invocation that organizes the universe's energy according to intention. Each phrase is a decree, and the emotional tone that accompanies this speech defines the intensity with which it manifests. The coherence between word and emotion is what determines the power of the command. Saying "I trust" with fear in the heart doesn't create flow. Saying it with conviction, presence, and surrender immediately activates the corresponding vibrational field. Energy doesn't recognize pretense, only truth. When the word is sustained by genuine feeling, the universe translates it into movement and synchrony. Therefore, speaking with awareness is a sacred practice. Each dialogue, each verbalized thought, carries the capacity to create or destroy, to expand or limit. The word can heal or hurt, attract or repel, depending on the intention that sustains it. Creative power lies not only in what is said, but in the vibration that accompanies the sound. When a person learns to communicate with presence and clarity, they transform their own life into a living prayer. The energetic field around them begins to reorganize in response to the new frequency, and everything that previously seemed distant begins to approach naturally. The conscious word is the first step toward the materialization of a new reality. But for creation to be complete, it's necessary that the word be in perfect harmony with thought, emotion, and action. Power multiplies when there is total coherence between what one feels, what one speaks, and what one does. And it's exactly this coherence that leads to the highest state of conscious manifestation, the point where being becomes one with their own creation. Manifestation isn't born only from desire, but from harmony between what one thinks, feels, speaks, and does. When these four movements vibrate in tune, the energetic field becomes crystalline, and communication with the universe occurs without noise. Coherence is the state in which being aligns completely with their own inner truth. Nothing opposes, nothing contradicts. Each word is sustained by authentic emotion, and each action reflects the soul's deepest intention. When the mind thinks one thing, the heart feels another, and the body acts in a contrary way. Vibration fragments. Energy disperses and creation weakens. The universe doesn't respond to the verbal request, but to the total frequency that being emits. And this frequency is determined by the sum of everything they are, not just what they say they want. Therefore, the path of manifestation is not a mental process, but an exercise in vibrational alignment. Coherence creates a powerful magnetic field. Coherent people radiate presence. They don't need to convince, because their vibration communicates for them. The universe organizes itself around this state of clarity, as if recognizing a pure signal and responding immediately. Prosperity, health, relationships, and opportunities flow naturally, because there is no internal resistance. The energy of coherence is silent but transformative. It dissolves the fears, noise, and contradictions that prevent the flow of creation. When being thinks with love, feels gratitude, speaks with truth, and acts with purpose, the universe mirrors exactly this pattern. Everything becomes a reflection of the vibration emitted. And what previously seemed distant begins to manifest naturally, effortlessly, because the vibrational field remains intact and luminous. Conscious manifestation is, therefore, an act of presence. Being aware of each thought, each emotion, and each word is the same as being in command of one's own reality. This state isn't achieved by force, but through daily practice of attention and authenticity. The more truthful the vibration, the more aligned the energetic field becomes, and the faster the universe responds. Coherence is the language of masters. It's the point where the human and the divine meet within the same field. And when being reaches this state, there is no longer separation between what they desire and what they live. They become the very flow of creation, the consciousness that creates, sustains, and experiences their own reality in fullness. But this understanding, however profound, is still only the beginning. Because the true power of the word, of vibration, and of coherence only fully reveals itself when the individual awakens to the consciousness of the Creator dwelling within them, and it's precisely this awakening that the introduction to the title, Speak and Create. When you speak this, reality becomes yours, invites you to explore. To speak is to decree. To feel is to sustain the decree. To act is to make it real. Conscious communication is the meeting point between the human and the divine, where reality bends before vibrational clarity. No external master has more power than one's own voice when it is aligned with inner truth. So, what kind of reality do you wish to see emerge from today onward? How many times have you caught yourself repeating phrases that distance you from what you truly want to live? And what if from now on each word were chosen as a sacred seed, cast into the fertile soil of the universe? What fruits would you like to harvest? The answer lies in the awareness with which you speak, feel, and act. The universe doesn't fail. It only reflects what you emit. And when vibration changes, everything changes with it. If this message awakened something within you, if it made sense in your heart, then it's time to continue expanding this knowledge. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and stay in this flow of learning and awakening. Because each word you choose is a new beginning, and the reality you desire is already waiting for your next vibration.